And this is really looking at how chemicals are getting into our body. And what I'm going to talk to you guys about are the different ways that they're getting in and some of the things that you can do to help minimize your exposure. Because we know that there are about 800,000 environmental and industrial chemicals in our environment, many of which have never been studied for human safety, many of which are not tested for in our water, air, or anything. They are there, and basically until they're proven to be a problem, they're not going to be removed, or they're not going to be banned. So there's really, quite a bit of potential for us to be exposed to these toxins, and there's a ton of evidence that we already have and that's building that shows us that these environmental chemicals and metals in our environment can wreak massive havoc on our bodies. And there's tons of evidence that they promote thyroid problems. I'm going to have a webinar where I'm going to be talking about, if you go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCD, you can get signed up for the webinar, or you can get signed up to be notified. We're going to have the webinar on June 8th. And you can go there, and I'm going to be talking all about this in much more detail. And I'm going to be talking to you about some of the research on the thyroid and other systems of the body, about how these chemicals are affecting the brain, diabetes, cancer, so many different things that we now have this information. And we have to do this the right way. I'm going to be talking about how to detox and do the detoxification correct, because I believe that 98% of the detoxes that are out there today are actually probably, they don't work, and probably 50% of them are not safe. So I'm going to be talking all about detoxification, how we can test, because testing has been a huge problem as well. But one of the first things we've got to do is figure out how are these chemicals getting into our body. And so guys, do me a favor. If you enjoy this information, please do share this message, because we need to help us help other people. So many people have no idea that this is going on, and we have got to become our own advocates, and we do that through education. And you have people in your life and in your family and your friends that will never have exposure to this information. And if this leads to diabetes, autoimmunity, thyroid dysfunction, cancer, or some of these problems, you have a responsibility. I feel compelled to share this information with people, because it's once you've been exposed to it, you can either choose to turn your head and ignore it, or you can actually become consciously aware of it and try to make a difference. So it's up to you if you're going to try to make a difference or not. But help us help other people. This is a huge, huge problem, and I think we're being poisoned. This is a hidden epidemic. So how does it get into our bodies? So it gets in through skin, air, or food. Okay, so let's talk about this. So skin, transdermally. Anything that you're using, any cosmetics, the water that's coming through your faucet, through your shower head, all over your body is loaded with chemicals. There was a National Geographic study, I believe it was National Geographic, where they checked chemicals in the participant's body. The guy takes a shower, comes out, and they check them again, and there were significantly more chemicals, like hundreds of more chemicals in his body after the shower. I'm telling you guys, we are being poisoned. So when we look at skin, anything that you put on your skin, including the water that you're swimming in, that you're bathing in, the lotions, the personal care products. So what you can do, one of the things you can do is you can go to ewg.org. Okay? Go there and you can look at skin. They have a Skin Deep. They have a part of their website where you can search all your cosmetics. Okay, first of all of your cosmetics, all of your personal care products, all of your cleaning products. Guys, men and women, this is appropriate. Go to ewg.org and you can search for all the stuff that you put on your body. Now, regarding the filtration systems, obviously a whole house filtration system is going to be best, but the most more cost-effective option for you might just be to put a filter on your shower. So between the pipe that comes out of the wall and your shower head, you can put a filter. Now I use one that's Pelican Water Systems, that they have a filtration system that I like, that's actually for the head of you can put it between the pipe and the shower head. And now that's a reasonable thing to do. That filters out a lot of the chemicals, not all of them. Ideally you want a whole house, whole home system. And that would be ideal, but and then we're going to talk about food and water that you drink in a minute. But ewg.org to look for the personal care and cleaning products is absolutely amazing. Okay, next thing, air. there are all these chemicals in the air from industrial processes. Number one, industrial processes, they're in the air. They get carried over us through our weather patterns, and it rains down on us, or it carries over in the air. It's not necessarily in the clouds or in the rain, but it comes over and we breathe it. What about probably one of the worst ways that you get exposed to toxins in the air that we really don't even think about? And that is being on the highway. So if you're on a highway and it's a busy road, or there's a car in front of you, one of the things that you absolutely have to do: roll the windows up and turn on your recirculation. Recycle the air. So use the recirc. Let's see. Recycle the air. Put it that way. We don't have to really write all this down, but you can recycle the air. You can also use, because a lot of cars now have they literally have like a HEPA system built in, a HEPA air filter. But you can do the recirculation. You can use a HEPA air filter in the home. Those are also very, very powerful. You can use different types of plants in your home that are natural purifiers of the air. You can just do a little bit of research or Google those. We're going to be talking about a lot of these things, in our webinar and the program that we're going to be taking a core group of 30 people through, and we're going to limit it to 30. And that might be for 1 to 3 months that we don't take anyone new. So we're only going to take 30 through our program. What we're going to do is, a lot of resources are in there on detoxifying the home and things like this. But a HEPA air filter, house plants, using recirc on your car, the recycling. So roll up the windows of your car, especially if you're on the highway, hit recycling so that you're not breathing all of that pollution from the exhaust. That's a huge, huge, huge problem. So plants, house plants, HEPA filters, great strategies right there. And you can use a high-grade air filter in your home. If you have a central heating and air conditioning system, use a very high quality that's a very good level, has a good level of filtration in your home. Those are all fantastic ways to improve your air quality, because you can breathe in these toxins to the air. Food's a huge issue. Food is sprayed with pesticides. The livestock and the animals are injected with chemicals, and they're put on medications. They're given antibiotics. They're huge problems. The food supply itself is herbicides and pesticides are sprayed all over it. A lot of the plants are genetically modified so that they change, and it's advantageous to a better yield for the crop, or for more convenience of the farmer, so that they don't get as moldy. Let's say wheat, for example. But it's terrible for us. I truly believe that it's terrible for us. So with foods, what do you do? Well, obviously, organic is, it was going to come up, right? But that's one of the best ways. Organic, know where your food's coming from. Okay, so organic foods, but you can also go to ewg.org and you can get the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. So let's just do this. Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 for foods. Go to ewg.org for your skincare. Buy organic foods if you can, but when you're trying to buy foods that are clean and safe, sticking with the Dirty Dozen Clean 15 recommendations is a guideline, and you can get those. Go to ewg.org, same place here that you can look at your skincare products. They'll have a list, and they'll give you food quality buying guides. I mean, it's really, really helpful. But organic foods, and then ewg.org. Water is also really important. I use an RO, reverse osmosis system at my home. If you can't do that, no worries. Just try to get water from a source like, I think you can go to findaspring.com, and you can actually buy water that's from a spring. We know that water, it's interesting, water that runs comes from a natural source, it has a different molecular structure than water that's processed. So it's really interesting. They call it structured water, and it has bioenergetic properties. I think it's really, really fascinating. But I use a reverse osmosis system, which it breaks the structuring of the water. So you can put the water in things as simple as sunlight, and there's actually systems that will restructure it. It's basically, the structuring occurs when the water rolls and the molecules interact. It causes them to attract to one another and take certain forms. It's more of a natural molecular state of the water. So reverse osmosis is a great way to filter out a lot of the problems. EWG.org to find the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. Organic foods are, the safest if you can do it, but it can, you can do as much as you can of this. Okay, especially if I was going to prioritize, I'd probably go with meat and prioritize the meat and buy organic meats, and then I would use the EWG.org Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 to reduce your burden of fruits and vegetables and know what's better to buy and what's not. And then I would consider a reverse osmosis system to help with cleaning your water in your home as far as drinking water and cooking what you cook with. But I would really, if you can't do that, I would look for a findaspring.org, and if you have to, get some kind of filtration in place, but they just don't typically remove enough. Reverse osmosis is one of the best, in my opinion. So, hope this helps you guys better understand where are these chemicals coming from, how are they getting into our body. Guys, remember, one of the best things that you can do is, seriously, I promise you, we're going to be talking about revolutionary information, stuff that I have been researching, things that I've been discovering, things that I just discovered last week. I'm going to be talking about in our webinar. So you can go to hashimotosdoctor.com/TCD and you can get signed up to be notified as soon as the registration becomes available. I'm going to send out an email and I'm not going to do it on a Facebook Live. We're not going to do it live. I'm going to send an email out to the people on our email list, and they're going to get a notification. Hey, if you want to join Dr. Shook on the detoxification webinar, registration's open. There are 500 spots only. And with 140,000 plus people that are following us, guys, that's going to fill up like the first day. So if you want to get registered, and we're not going to do multiple webinars, because what we're going to do is we're going to take 30 people through a detoxification process over 3 months. And we may, depending on how it goes, we may have a class each month that we bring in, or it might be every 3 months. I don't know yet, but we're going to have an enrollment period. I'm going to take the first 30 people I'm going to teach you guys about some testing that's cutting edge, because these chemicals are so hard to test for. They're either bound to the tissues, so you can't test them in the blood or the urine because they don't leave the body, or they're just really hard to assess. So we've got some new testing that's much more accurate, and it gives us information on a combination of the processes of do you have neurotoxicity from mercury potentially, and maybe do you have built up levels of biotoxins? Do you have cellular inflammation? We've got some new testing that is, it's very, very cool. It looks at the health of the brain, the optic nerve. There's some very, very neat stuff I'll be talking to you guys about. So I hope this helps you guys better understand this. Guys, please help us help other people. Remember, the mission is to help one person so that we can help one family, one community, and ultimately the world by doing it one person at a time. Now, we've got to share this information, because no one is going to be exposed to this unless we are talking about it. Your family, your friends, how many of them are impacted by a problem that may be driven by chemicals? And I'm telling you that there's so many problems driven by these chemicals, you're going to be blown away. So I'm excited to share this with you guys, and I can't wait to talk to you about it on the webinar. It's going to be June 8th. We haven't set a time yet. Once everything's set up, you're going to receive an email. So make sure you join me, okay? But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you guys again soon. Thanks. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great